Just ahead on CTV News tonight, a Bowie police officer is being hailed as a hero. Plus, our continuing coverage of the Key Bridge. And Ernest Burley is here for Money Matters Tuesday. CTV News starts now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, May 21st. I'm Mariah Jalad.
And I'm Gina Barty. Thanks for joining us.
Well, 2 suspects have been charged in connection to a shooting that left a D.C. police captain injured yesterday morning. The suspects are Rashid Thorne and William Walker IV, both 21 years old. The captain was on his way to work in his personal vehicle when a car driving erratically stopped in front of him. One passenger exited the car and shot into the officer's vehicle. The captain was able to drive himself to the Metro Police Department's 4th District Station and was brought to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
The involved car was then pursued by police over the D.C.-Maryland line and onto Landover Road. The suspects were arrested on the scene and a gun was recovered nearby. Anyone with additional information on this case is asked to call police at 301-516-2512.
And a house fire in Temple Hills leaves a woman dead. Yesterday, Prince George's firefighters were sent to the 5200 block of Oahu Court, where they found a single-family home with a fire that was already out. In the home, they found a woman dead, along with 2 dogs and a cat. The cause of the fire and deaths are currently under investigation.
Progress continues at the Key Bridge site, with Governor Wes Moore putting out a timeline for a new bridge. Byron Scott has our update.
It's been more than 24 hours since the Dolly container ship has been moved from the wreckage site just behind me here to the Seagirt Marine Terminal. Here's some video from yesterday after the crews assembled early yesterday morning to refloat it. Tugboats moved the massive ship 2.5 miles to the terminal, traveling at about 1 mile per hour. Now, earlier today, Governor Wes Moore held a press conference to update residents. He said the operation is moving aggressively as planned. He said over the next week, we can expect to see another 20 vessels and barges to come through the port's terminals as the salvage operation continues. And also, the governor says he expects to see a new Key Bridge up and running by 2028.
On the question of the timeline, it is aggressive, but that's the reason we've got to move fast. But I think the thing that we've continued to show, if you look at this operation, is that we can do big things. We can accomplish aggressive timelines. We just want to ensure that we have the partnership with Congress and the partnership with all the partners necessary in order to accomplish this in a speedy fashion. And that's the reason we continue to push for this 100% cost share, and we've been incredibly grateful for the level and the measure of bipartisan support that's happened for both this cost share and us to be able to move fast. We've got to do this on time and on budget. That's our commitment. And so we want to make sure that in order to do that, that's why the 100% cost share becomes so important, because it allows us to move fast, to move on time, and to move on budget. We know it's an aggressive timeline, but it's a timeline we plan on hitting.
Now, the state estimates the cost of a new bridge at $1.9 billion. Also today, the crews expect to have a 400-foot wide, 50-deep channel open by today. That's going to run 24/7, and they expect to have the larger 700-foot channel open by the end of the month. Byron Scott, CTV News.
And in other news, a Bowie police officer rescues a boy and his dog from a pond. The Bowie Police Department received a call about a dog struggling to swim in the pond at Centennial Park last Thursday around 5 p.m. When Sergeant Matthew Tittman arrived on the scene, he saw a boy go into the water to retrieve the animal. Tittman says once the child got near the fountain where the dog was, he began to panic.
Sure, I ripped my vest over my head, threw my belts on the ground, looked over at my partner, was like, watch my stuff. And I jumped in the water once I'd taken my boots off, got out there, swam as fast as I could, and tried to calm the young man down and just had him grab onto me and slowly pulled him and the dog in. I'd advise them to stay out of the water if they can. You know, it's not clean. It was pretty gross. It was pretty stinky afterwards. You know, keep your dogs on a leash and, you know, just maintain safety around the water.
Officials say the water in that pond can get up to 6 feet deep. And a 911 dispatcher also helped Tippman in this rescue.
Well, the state's Prescription Drug Affordability Board identifies a number of medications for cost review to determine if the drug poses an affordability challenge for those under the state's health care plan. 2 drugs that treat diabetes were prioritized by the board, Ozempic and Trulicity, and 2 other drugs that treat diabetes and heart and kidney disease, Farxiga and Jardiance, were selected along with 2 other drugs. This marks the first time in Maryland that a handful of drugs will undergo cost review, which involves public comment. The board is still months away from any potential cost reduction efforts.
And car costs will be increasing for Marylanders this summer, with registration fees going up by as much as 75%. That's due to a budget compromise passed by the House and Senate to help close a $3 billion gap in highway and transit spending. The new rates go into effect on July 1st, and it's not the only reason drivers will be paying more. Electric and plug-in hybrid vehicle owners will have to pay an up to $250 surcharge every 2 years to make up for the money they don't spend on gas taxes. And the schedule for those surcharges has not been announced.
The Washington Metro Rail Safety Commission issues an audit of its rail cars. The audit included in-depth interviews, site visits, along with documentation and data reviews. Here are some of the findings. Metro Rail is not carrying out rail car maintenance and inspection tasks as specified by its procedures. It's also not identifying and mitigating hazards related to rail cars and personnel. And Metro Rail is using equipment that is not calibrated in accordance with its policies and procedures. The agency must have a correction action plan to address the findings in 30 days.
Well, new data shows that the state's teachers are still majority white. According to Maryland Matters, during the 2023 to 2024 academic school year, 68% of Maryland teachers were white, 20% of educators are black, and about 5% Latino or Asian. The data also shows that 79% of the teachers in Prince George's School District are people of color. In the Baltimore City school system, about 61% of its teachers are of color, and in Montgomery County, 31% of the teachers are of color.
Prince George's joined some Virginia communities in an aircraft noise study. The county, along with the city of Alexandria and Fairfax County, has partnered with Viant Air, a company that provides technology to airports and airlines. The partnership will focus on a noise mitigation study in areas like Prince George's that are south of Reagan National Airport and near the Potomac River. Community members can complete the online survey by visiting the website on your screen. And you're watching CTV News. Still to come.
Our own County Council Chair launches her new show. We'll have details on that after the break.
I surrender.
All right, pal.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
Sunshine through today with seasonal temperatures. We should reach our normal high of about 82 degrees by this afternoon. Clear skies tonight with a low near 70.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes. Good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
You budget. You pay bills.
Yet somehow, women like you, like me,
are 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So here's what we're gonna do now. We're going to save ourselves by setting a goal to save 2% more of our income for our retirement.
Why 2?
1% honors you.
And 1% honors all womankind.
So come on, learn more about the 2% challenge at WeSaySaveIt.org.
A legal challenge to Montgomery County Public Schools' policy on gender identity will not be taken up by the U.S. Supreme Court. The challenge was first drafted in the 2020-2021 school year by a group of parents that argued the school system's policy of a gender support plan violated parental rights. The policy supports students if and when they want to change their gender identity, including name and pronouns, and provides students privacy if their family is not supportive. A statement from the Board of Education says it's pleased the Supreme Court declined the challenge.
It's graduation season. The Mount Rainier Police Department announces that Chief Linwood Alston has received a certificate of graduation from the Federal Law Enforcement Training Centers upon completing the Department Homeland Security Leadership Academy. The program held in Georgia was attended by law enforcement executives from 30 different international, state, local, and territorial agencies. Chief Alston was the only municipal police chief selected from Maryland to attend the dynamic program.
And it's diplomas, gowns, and grads for the Bladensburg High School class of 2024 today. Graduating seniors got to take their steps across the stage and turn their tassels, celebrating their achievements and completing high school. The graduates look forward to their futures and being one step closer to what's next.
My dream actually is to become a lawyer, but for now I'm gonna be in the workforce. But if anything comes across, any opportunity to go into and study my dream job, then I'll do that.
To be honest, I just want to further my education. I'm really looking forward to discovering new things and learning new things.
Looking forward to achieving a career goal and being financially stable.
I feel like I'm gonna get some more than the money, and I'm about to go to college.
My favorite memory was being a part of the soccer team. Those are the best 2 years. Being goalie, it was great.
Time management is the most important thing I've learned, because if you don't manage your time, you're going to be stressed and you won't be able to do things.
Congratulations, and we wish you good luck.
Well, you just might see County Council Chair Jolene Ivey in one of your favorite places to eat or a business you frequent. Council Conversations with Jolene Ivey premiered its first episode right here on CTV. The chair will be visiting businesses and people around the county to learn what matters to them. Her first stop was at Marion Main Dispensary in Capitol Heights to explore the highs and lows of the expanding recreational cannabis industry. You can catch Council Conversations with Chair Jolene Ivey every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Still to come on CTV News, it's Tuesday, so it's time for our Money Matters segment.
That's right, and financial advisor Ernest Burley is here to talk to us about some of the pros and cons of entrepreneurship. Back in a moment.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Did you know that the average U.S. entrepreneur can start a new business in as little as 6 days? However, it can take up to a year for a business to start making sales.
In fact, Prince George's County is home to more new businesses than any other county in Maryland. So back with us today to talk about entrepreneurship is financial advisor Ernest Burley from Burley Insurance and Financial Services. So, Mr. Burley, if I would like to become an entrepreneur, what are some of those perks that are in store for me?
A lot of perks. So you get the flexibility, you get to see your business, pour your blood, sweat, and tears into a business and see the success of it, see it helping people in some different types of ways. There's no limit to your income except for your efforts, right? So there are a lot of pros, your blood, sweat, and tears, and seeing that successful business helping others, it's just, it's unspeakable. You can't even
So
imagine.
we know that with pros come the cons, and everybody should be prepared for those cons. Talk about some of the cons in being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, all the glitters is not gold, right? Yeah. So not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur, which is not a bad thing, right? It takes a lot of extreme amount of discipline, diligence, organization. You need to be a problem solver, multitasker. I had a friend of mine say, you eat what you kill, right? So if you don't kill anything, which means you don't have any sales or people paying you for your service, then you're not eating. So that's not for everybody. You don't get that guaranteed check every 2 weeks, every couple of weeks, unless you're bringing in some sales.
I see. Yeah. So if all those things are sounding good to me, if I feel like I'm that type of person, where should I start to launch my own business?
Right. So I have a career acronym, career, C-A-R-E-E-R. So the C in career stands for character. So what is your character? By that, I mean, what is your natural gifting, your natural talent? The A stands for alignment. Does it line up with current and future societal goals and needs? The first R stands for reason. For what reason do you want to do it? Some people like autonomy, flexibility, creativity, blah, blah, blah. The first E is endurance. Will it endure to the future? The second E is education. What type of certifications and education do you need for it? And the last R is remuneration. That's just the money. That's all it is. How much will you get paid? Okay. That's all remuneration is. How much will you be paid for this endeavor? Can you sustain yourself financially with this product or service that you're going to go into business with?
Yeah, I really like that acronym because I think a lot of people do have dreams of being entrepreneurs and owning their own business, especially that first one. But do you have the character? Because it does take a lot of work. Yes. But before you hop into it, what do you recommend in terms of quitting that full-time job? And a lot of people say, I'm stepping out on faith. My pastor would say, make sure you have a foundation before you step out on faith. What do you say?
Right. He says something to the extent of make sure the other train is moving faster than the one that you're currently on.
Yes, I love that.
So, you have to do a lot of planning. You don't just jump out there and do it. So you need to do a lot of planning, make sure that you have all of your bases covered. So it is very important to do the planning, do the homework, do your due diligence, and make sure you have all of your bases covered before you jump out there into entrepreneurship.
What are those bases you're talking about? What planning do I really need to, have on my checklist?
Yeah, so cash is king. Capital, access to resources. Yes. Also a business plan. It amazes me how many people I consult with and they don't have a business plan. So your business, you need to know your expenses, your projected income, who is your clientele potentially, your niche market, your problems that may come up. All that stuff needs to be in your business plan, your marketing plan, and you should also have a SWOT, right? A SWOT analysis. That should be, I never see anyone have one of those. Right?
Yeah, so before you go any further, you and these acronyms, I just love it. I had to, we're always Googling all your acronyms. So tell us, what is a SWOT?
A SWOT is just a business analysis. So the S in SWOT stands for strengths. So what are the strengths of your business? The W stands for weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of your business? The O stands for opportunity. So what opportunities can your business take advantage of? And the T stands for threats. What threats may come against your business? Competition, supply chain issues, what have you. COVID, yes.
Yeah.
So you need to have a good SWOT analysis to say, okay, well, I think I'm good to go here.
Yeah, most definitely.
So once I've got that business plan out of the way, I kind of have my idea in mind for my business and I'm ready to launch. I'm ready to go. What are some of those first problems that people might run into? Like those things that you can plan for, not something like COVID. Like, you know, you would never know.
Right.
But those things that are common, you know, for every business.
Well, one of the big things is they know they don't have enough revenue. You're not having enough sales coming in to sustain yourself, right? Then poor management. You know, a lot of people think, hey, it's a big deal, very easy to run a business, but there are a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't know about that you need to be able to grapple with. And a big, huge one is income taxes. That catches a lot of business owners off guard. Income tax liability.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's probably really smart to have a good team behind you. Can you talk about that really quickly, about having that accountant or that CPA, the team behind your business?
Right, you're catching me off guard, but I got this. I got another one for you. So 5 people you should have in your team. You should have a good accountant, a good attorney, right? A good financial planner that's your quarterback to take a look at everything, a good investment advisor also, and a good insurance person. All those 5 people on the team, you need those to really be in order in what you're doing.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Right, great.
And pay that income tax. You know, that's a big
vital.
one. That's huge.
Yeah, that's vital.
All right.
Thanks
Thank you
so
very
much.
Sure. Thank you.
And individuals should contact their own financial professional and attorneys to help answer questions about specific situations or needs before taking any action based on this information. And coming up after the break, Simon Buggs has the Tuesday Sports page.
I hear you got a little Washington Wizards and some high school highlights.
What's going on, sports fans? And coming right up, some highlights from the softball state quarterfinal matchup between Eleanor Roosevelt and Richard Montgomery High School. Stay tuned.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey there, everybody. It's time for your Tuesday Sports page. We begin with some high school softball news. It was an exciting time yesterday as the Eleanor Roosevelt softball team took the field versus Richard Montgomery High School at home in the state quarterfinals. While it took a little while for the Lady Raiders to put some runs together, they did make some nice plays on defense, like this nice catch by outfielder Jaden Smith to get an out for her team. But as the game went on, with outfielder Grace Adu on third base, infielder and pitcher Quinn Lansing was at bat and had a nice hit on the ball that allowed Adu to get to home plate and score the first run of the afternoon for her team. Fast forward to later in the game, Roosevelt's offense caught fire as they scored 3 runs in the final innings. This first one came courtesy of a pitching error by the Lady Rockets that allowed number 1, Natalia Harquin, to score the team's second run. This second one was caused by a simple bunt from outfielder Nicole Lilia, and because the ball was still in play, catcher Samaya Smith was able to run all the way to home plate. And this last run came as the Lady Rockets failed to get Lilia out, and she was able to make it home just in the nick of time. And the Lady Raiders were able to come away with the win in this one, taking down Richard Montgomery 4-0. Eleanor Roosevelt will face off next against Perry Hall in the state semifinals tonight at 7 o'clock. And moving on to the NBA, former Wizards head coach Wes Unseld Jr. is on the move as he has been hired as the lead assistant coach for the Chicago Bulls. Unseld was the coach for the Washington Wizards for 2.5 seasons and compiled just a 77-130 record before being moved to a front office role in the middle of the 2023 to 2024 season. Moving on to some baseball news, the Bowie Baysox will be taking the diamond tonight. Bowie will try to get their 22nd win of the season when they play the Richmond Flying Squirrels at 6:05. And the Nationals will be in action tonight also as they will try and string together back-to-back wins against the Minnesota Twins. The game starts at 6:45. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be mostly clear out. Tomorrow is looking like summer. We're going to have a high of 88 degrees and a low of 68. Thursday, we have a chance of showers and thunderstorms, but temperatures will reach a high of 86.
Friday, those showers continue, and we'll see a high of 83 and a low of 65.
And now a look at our community calendar. To honor those who serve our nation, the city of Bowie is creating a field of honor at Sussex Lake Park. The patriotic display of 150-plus flags will be set up from tomorrow until June 5th.
Each flag will be accompanied by a dedication card. The field is located between Annapolis Road and Sussex Lane across from Bowie High School. For more information, you can contact 301-809-3078.
And that wraps up CTV News for now.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great night.